What's up, everybody? So in the last video, I think I uploaded it yesterday. It was me showing how to put back the transmission and everything, and I haven't had time to go back yet and go do that. But in today's video, we're gonna focus on this main relay. So earlier I was driving and I don't know why all of a sudden I've been having problems where my fuel pump won't kick on, and pretty sure the culprit of it is this main relay. It's a really common issue with these 90s Honda that they just stop working, they get stuck, or they don't want to activate, you know, whatever the reason is, they just don't work. And you can tell some splicing's been right here for a kill switch or something of some sort. I don't know. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to convert your main relay from this big ass block with hella pins on it to the more traditional 5-pin relay. So I have my wires ready, or not my wires, but the sleeving around this, the wires and all that. I have it stripped back just enough so I could see like if there's any more cuts behind that, but there isn't, just this one right here. Regardless, I'm gonna cut all this. There's different ways you could do it. They already have, I believe, JDI is one of the companies out there that makes these kits plug and play for those who aren't too comfortable with wiring themselves. Totally understandable. But for those who, not in a bad way, but are willing to try it, I am gonna show you how to do just that. So I'm gonna do as budget as it gets. I have a relay right here, but it doesn't have any connector, so we're just gonna connect this straight individually. And what do you call it? Yeah, so there's just gonna be the connection right here. I believe you can do it with a 4-prong relay, but I already have that mapped out for a 5-pin, but you should be fine with the 4-pin. But I'll show you guys regardless how to wire it, make sure everything works. And yeah, let's just get started. So first things first, you have to understand how the actual main relay works that comes in these cars from factory, which is this guy right here. And I'll explain to you every single wire. So first we got number 1 being battery power. That's his bottom left one. This one right here where they cut into, and I can verify that because this top one is ground. If you look right here, number 2, I don't know how good you can see it on the screen. Number 2, we look at number 2. That shows it's ground to the relay, pin 2. So the next, after that, is going to be pin 3. Pin 3 should go to the ECU for power. And yep, pin 3, ECU. Pin 4, this is starter switch. Pin 5, this is, I believe, ignition. Comes from fuse box right there. Then you have your wire right here, which goes to the fuel pump. Pin 7. And then this one right here, 2 wires coming from the ECU giving ground. Pin 8. That is gonna be, where is it at? Yeah, C2 ECU. Pin 8, that activates that relay. So basically the way it works is you have ignition from this side. Ground right here. So when you turn the key, that kicks on, activates this magnet that sends battery power to the ECU. The ECU then sends back what do you call it, signal right here for ground, activates this circuit, sends it through right here, that was from ignition, to the fuel pump. And yeah, that's basically how it works. But we're gonna make this just a single relay, and we're gonna delete the starter signal switch. So yeah, let's get it going. The way I've seen some companies do it, I know JDI is one of them, and then there's some other like eBay companies that do it. I've seen that they don't utilize, if I'm not mistaken, this pin right here, pin number 8, which is a ground that comes from ECU. and the ground they use to activate the relay is just a regular ground, number pin 2. So not that that's a bad idea, the only thing I don't like about that is when you're giving out that signal to the relay, it's letting it know that like that's where your fuel pump primes, because if I'm not mistaken, that's what gives ground once the ECU has power. So I kind of want to get reassured of that, and I'm gonna test it, see. I'm gonna use the ground signal off the ECU to activate the relay and see if that'll start that. If not, then we'll go back to the ground, but that's how I believe. I feel it'll be a lot more safe to know it works that way. So let's get to cutting. All right, so first things first, we'll go step by step. We're gonna utilize, obviously this is battery power. I'm gonna cut that right here. Boom, clean wire. And yes, it's gonna be directly hardwired, so you know you're not gonna have a disconnectable clip or anything like that for your old relay if you ever wanted to go back to that. So keep that in mind. Mine keeps messing up and I haven't been able to turn my cart because of that, so I don't really care about that. Next step you want to do, strip some of this wire back. Oh, it didn't work that good. Just like that. You don't need a crazy amount. I'm gonna fold it inward so that I can get a good bite in the actual connector. Alright, so next you want to get whatever, if you're using an actual plug from a relay or whatever it is you're using, put that into the first terminal. Boom, we're good right there, and just give it a crimp. I'm using these ratcheting crimpers, they work a lot better. Nice and simple. Get a good crimp on that. Okay, that's one wire down. Alright, so now the first pin that's gonna go to, I'm gonna wire that directly to pin 30. Oh fuck. On the relay. So pin 30 is a pin going straight down. That's gonna go there. Boom, easy connection. Make sure it stays good. That's your main battery power. You don't want that being loose. And off to the next. So in the next one, try to make it not as confusing, but so you're gonna get these two wires right here. These are for EF specifically, EF, DA, EF wagon, anything over the 0 if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if EGs are the same, but I believe they're different wire diagram. I can be mistaken. Unless it's the same thing, then I'm pretty sure it should work. But these two wires have to receive power. These will go to the ECU to turn it on. I stayed right here on pins 13 and 15. And reading this, it's basically telling me that just goes to ground. That obviously gets battery power, but the coil is actually what do you call it, activates that magnet. So I can either run it off battery power, because that's what it straight goes to, but obviously the battery, the ECU would stay on constantly. You don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge these two wires that go to the ECU with this one right here, and that there is pin 7. Oh no, mistaken, pin 5 right here. That's the fuel pump, pin 5, this one right here, the black and yellow wire. So yeah, we're gonna merge these two wires, you're gonna cut them, splice these two. Well, basically you're gonna have all these two together so that when you turn on your vehicle, the fuse box will feed power to this, also feeding the magnet on the relay, and also feeding it back to the ECU, giving the ECU power, so it sends back a ground signal to these wires. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut these two here and show you guys where those go. Alright, as you guys can see, I'm not trying to skip any steps. Cut those two wires, cut the black and yellow one, strip them, and put them together. And boom, just like that. See, cut these 3 wires, place them all together, I twist them and I just cut it so it's a nice flat connection. So now I'm gonna get another terminal and put it on that. Okay, So I put a connection on that and I pinned it to the relay, and that is on pin 86. It's the left one from the bottom. And then from there we can get our, I believe it's gonna be our fuel pump wires, which are these two, no, these right here, this one right here, this yellow one. So same thing, cut it, strip it, crimp it, and place it on this top pin right here of the relay. That's gonna be pin 87. All right, so now all we got left, as you can see, start from the very beginning again. Battery power, pin 30. Ignition and two ECU wires is pin 86. And then the fuel pump wire that was on pin 7 is now on pin 87 on this relay. So all we have left now is a ground on this side to activate the coil for the magnet to work inside the relay. And like I said, we have two options. So we're not using the starter signal no more. All we have left are the actual ground and the fuel pump wires from the ECU that also give ground. So this is the part that I know that I believe, because I was looking at some other, like I said, other companies. I was seeing how they were wiring theirs, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they just utilize this stock ground, which is perfectly fine. But like I said, usually I know when the fuel pump kicks on is because it's getting signal from the ECU. So that's how I know the ECU is working and receiving power. Because then obviously if you have ground right here and then ignition right here, the fuel pump's going to kick on. But then if the ECU doesn't have power, then you won't even have spark or anything like that. So it'd be nicer to know if the ECU is working, to know you're going to receive all that rather than just it kicking on with no spark, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I'm going to use these two wires right here for ground, because that's what the ECU gives off ground. I showed right here. ECU A12 and 14 activates that coil, goes to the fuel pump. Going to use these for ground. And after that, everything should work right there. But yeah, same thing. Cut, crimp, and I'll show you guys where to place that. And hopefully this conversion works good. Okay, so if everything is done correctly, as stated, all we have left is the starter wire, which is the blue one, which we're not using no more, and this factory ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it like this. These last two wires went on pin 88 of the relay. I believe it's pin 88. So yeah, we're not utilizing the middle one because there's no need to like latch back and forth for anything. So I'll say it one more time to repeat myself. Battery power, which is pin 1 on this plug, which is the bottom right here. It is color wires, oh yeah, well, yellow white. And on pin 86, utilizing yellow black and black yellow. That is pin 813, no, pin 3. Pin 3 being, where is it at? I lost it. Where'd it go? These two right here. Pin 3, yellow and black, and then right next to it, black and yellow. Cut those, connect them together. Pin 86. From there, you're gonna get your fuel pump wire, which is pin 7, bottom left. Straight yellow black wire, pin that to pin 87, and last but not least, if it works as I'm guessing it should, from the ECU you're getting ground, green and black wires. Those are pin number 8, and that's gonna go on pin 88 right here. I believe pin 85. No, I think it's 85, my bad. Pin 85 on this one, yeah, to give it ground. And yeah, let's go ahead and give it a shot. So far is good. You should hear the fuel pump prime, no problem. You hear that relay click. Wow, I'm not even gonna lie guys, that shit was way stronger. I can actually hear it pump this time. Usually, yeah. So you guys can see, you'll know if fuel pump primes because you can hear it, and the check engine light will turn on, basically checking everything, and then it turns off, letting you know, bingo. I do have a check engine light, so that's why, yeah, nope. But yeah, so that means this does work. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, make sure it doesn't turn off, drive it, make sure it doesn't do nothing, but you can even hear the relay click. I don't know how good you guys can hear it, but yeah, give it a crank. Yeah, see, so I do have a check engine light. I think it's because of my speedo, because I didn't wire it correctly right here when I changed out the whole dash on some free time, and I don't think the speedo was working. Well, it's not working, and that's why I believe the ECU is not getting a signal from that, and it's throwing a check engine light for that. But besides the point, you now have a 5-pin conversion harness, and now the ECU ground works, because that's what a relay is meant for. You know, it's used for circuits that don't have a lot of power to give something that has a lot of power. So now our fuel pump, when it turns on like this, is getting power straight from battery, since the magnet crosses over, shown here on the diagram. It just basically flips over from 30 to 87. So now we have full battery power. ECU gets battery power straight from this wire, which is the fuse. I think it's like alternating fuse, so even if the relay messes up one day and it's not turning on, it would be the alternator solenoid valve. That is pin 14. And then just so you guys can see that is true. Say for example, if one day that fuse popped, that's number 14, that's the second one. If I pull it out, it should turn off right away. As it did, because that's where this black yellow wire gets power from, so that basically kills the ECU. And that goes on to my next topic of how to make this into a kill switch. So you guys can see right there, put that fuse back, boom. Now that's a good motherfucking relay. So yeah, we don't need this ground. I would suggest leaving it there, knowing it's a good ground, so if you guys ever need to wire something else, you guys can use that. The starter signal, I think it comes off the ECU, so when you're like first starting up, it uses that wire to like throw a bit more fuel or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But this car is tuned, it doesn't need it. It should be the exact same thing with any other car, because yeah, you know, it all works. But so I'm gonna turn it off now, it's freaking loud. So when making into this a kill switch, you can go many different ways. I mean, it just depends what you want to do exactly. What I would recommend doing, typically the way the kill switch would work, in my most honest opinion, I'm not saying this for anyone to try to steal a car or anything. I'm not going to do it in this video. You guys can set it up your own way. I'm just going to tell you how to run it. But typically you could choose any of these pins, if I'm not mistaken, because obviously if you don't have one of these pins connected, the relay's not going to work. Something's not going to receive power, something's not going to give power, something's not going to give ground, you know. So technically what you would do is crimp everything the exact same way. But then, for example, if I want my ECU to not get any power whatsoever, to make it more of like a hidden type of link kind of thing, is what you can do is cut this more back as one way of a kill switch, cut it in between here, and then use another set of female connectors from one end to another, and you would get a whole nother switch with male pins on it and just connect to that. So basically just like an on and off switch. So when you have the kill switch on, basically makes an open circuit on this wire, not giving power to the ECU. ECU doesn't give ground, ground doesn't activate the magnet and then relay, and your car won't turn on. Or vice versa, you know, do that switch on this side and make it so even if it has power, you choose when it goes to the ECU, when it doesn't. Or vice versa. Yeah, like, I even touched it right away. Where's it at? So like right now it's basically like a kill switch because the key's on. So let's say if I had an open circuit, once I flip the switch, if it were to be a switch right here, connects it. That's how it would work. Or like if you put it right here on the battery side, same thing, just you would cut it. That's technically how the other conversion kits are. All it is a break in between because it has spade connectors connected. You would cut it, link one wire this way, one wire that way, and it all lead to one switch. You flick on and off. When it's on, completes a circuit. When it's off, it makes a break in the switch, not giving it power. So basically you can do that to whatever combination you want, how hidden you want it. Tuck this wherever you want it so you know it's accessible. Label the main relay with the sticker or something, and have that switch somewhere. I'm not going to display in this video because I'm not showing you guys where my kill switch is at, and I would not make it off that because I want it to be more hidden. But I'm gonna go on a quick driving test just to make sure this is good and we don't get stranded with this setup. But yeah, it should be good to go. But I'm gonna do a quick POV of me driving it and make sure it's all good. All right, time for a POV. Hopefully I get a good angle of this because I'm putting this on my dome. Whoa. All right, I think we're in good shape. I think. Put the camera down. Okay. I was gonna let her warm up, but I already did that prior to this video. Well, not video, but like before I did this. That's why I decided to do it, because it's been giving me a long time problem. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting annoyed. So far, this is like the best I've ever heard the fuel pump, like prime. I even told my brother about it. Hopefully the audio is good too, but mainly just POV so you guys can see if it's good or not. I didn't do this sooner. it back. Pro. I don't know why it took me so long to do this. I'm gonna do it to the S side too, if anything. But yeah, that's basically gonna do it for this video. I don't know how long it is, probably gonna be a little short one, but I just wanted to make a quick video about it because I feel like it'd be helpful to some of you people who either can't wait, it's an emergency, or if, you know, for whatever reason, you just don't have enough funds to spend. I think they're like about like $20, a little jumper kit, or whatever the reason is. Just to help anybody out. And then for those, for whatever reason, if you just don't have any 5-pin relays on hand and you have nothing but a 4-pin relay, you would wire it the exact same way. The only difference is you're just not gonna have this 87 8-pin. You're just gonna have those four, because it'll either be in this 4-prong style, or I know the OE Honda ones are like 2 and 2. You would just connect the your let me get this door open. You would just connect, you know, your fuel pump from the ECU to the magnet side. So this is on same thing, 85, and then this one's 86, and then yeah, 30, and then I think it's 87A. Yeah, so they should all be the same thing on the 4 prongs, regardless of the fact, like, you know, as long as you have these two right, and then you're, you know, these two across going correctly, everything should work fine. It shouldn't matter if you have these flipped, because all those are for the coil to get magnetized. So if you get one of those two flipped for whatever reason, you'll be okay. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys learned something from it. I'm pretty happy because now my car won't get stuck. Friggin' turned off on me twice yesterday. I couldn't even leave work. So yeah, can't do that when you clock out, huh? So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. On some materials I spent, even with some spare connectors from AutoZone, the little gold crimp ones. They're like, I think they were the little bit bigger size gauge wire, because I know it's gonna be twisting some. If you guys want the part number, 84542 1614 gauge, just to fit a decent sized wire in there. $7. Get yourself some good wire cutters. You know, like I said, cool little DIY. I know this will work. Once again, I'll put up on the screen for, I believe, 88 to 91 Civic hatchback, SI, DX, STD models. Any DA Integra, I believe OBD1 should work the same exact way, if I'm not wrong. And then I can't remember any other relays. I know EG DC is a little bit different, if I'm not wrong, but if it is the same, by all means try it, but I could be wrong. And yeah, if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see any more I guess DIY videos, or just anything like that, how to wire up power windows, because I'm gonna do that pretty soon too on the SI. Yeah, leave comments down below, and see you guys next time. Peace out. I know I ended the video right now. I know I just ended up. I just realized something, guys. I'm an idiot. If you guys have a depainting tool, and if your wires weren't messed up like mine, whoa, you could just depend the freaking pins, yo. Dude, I did not think, wow, I could have had a, man, I gotta just depend it. What a pendejo. Oh well, too late now. These look fresh, no cap. Anyways, see you guys later. Peace out.